Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, because since the last video, we actually dipped below this ascending trend line, but then got two perfect bounces from this short-term level of support that I mentioned in the previous video. And as of right now, as of the time of recording, we are trading back above this ascending line of support again. So taking a look at the next short-term levels of support and resistance, first of all, right now you can see that Bitcoin just touched this big level of resistance, which is sitting from 68.5K all the way up to 70,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. But in the case that you do see the price trade above that 70K level, we might get some short-term resistance right here at about 70.5K. However, most of the resistance is actually sitting right here from 71,000 US dollars all the way up to 73K for Bitcoin. And now zooming in on the 1 hour time frame to take a look at the support levels here. One thing you must keep in mind is this ascending level of support, which is sitting at about 68K as of the time of recording. But of course, this does trend up over time. So if the price goes this low again, but it takes some time, then for example, right here, this level of support could already be sitting at 68.1K. So let me just quickly show you how to draw this trend line so you can keep an eye on it in your trading view. This is how I set it up on the 4 hour time frame. But going back on that 1 hour, we covered this ascending trend line right here. But then again, we do have this level of support, which is sitting at 67.2K. But in the case that the Bitcoin price trades below that level, then likely we will fall into the next level of support, which is sitting from 66K all the way down to 65,000 US dollars. But I do think that's about it for the bearish scenarios in the immediate short term, because I think it is very unlikely that the price suddenly just drops below 65K for no reason, all the way from 68,000 US dollars. So I'm not going to cover the support levels below this point, because I will just cover them in the next video if we go lower from here. Now, one thing I spotted yesterday on the 15-minute time frame when we were getting this massive dump to the downside for such a short time frame was actually this bullish divergence right here, which I did call out in my Discord server. And this was only for the people who have access to my trading signals, where I said, hey, we have a 15-minute bullish divergence going on. So potentially we are getting a short term or just a break in general from all that bearish price action. And immediately after the price shot up over $1,200, and looking at it today, it was actually a great call, because yeah, the price is just trending up right now. And in the case that you want to get access to my trading signals, all you need to do is join my Discord server. You can do that for free with the first link in the description of the video you are watching right now. And all you need to do once you've verified and you're in here, all you need to do is go to this Trading Signals Access channel and follow the steps right here. Not only do you get a nice deposit bonus of up to $300 if you register to Blowfin right now, this is only for the first 100 users, and actually it ends on the 28th. So if you do want to claim some of these bonuses right here, then I recommend you do it soon, because this promotion ends in 4 days. But once you have done that, then simply let me know either in a comment or in the Discord server, and I will give you access to the trading signals. And like I said, there are no costs to getting access to my trading signals. All you need to do is follow these steps right here. Now, taking a look at these Fibonacci levels for Bitcoin, where recently we dropped below the 0.786 Fibonacci level a couple of days ago. And right now what you can see is that we got a perfect bounce from this 0.618 Fibonacci level, which is sitting roughly at 67.2K. And that's why it's important to watch my videos every single day, because I show you these charts ahead of time, so you can take all of those support levels into account and get some nice entries. But of course, as always, I don't give financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I see in the charts, and you can do with that information what you like. Now, in terms of the momentum in the market right now, there are a couple of things you need to keep in mind. For example, we have this descending channel on the daily time frame, where we actually got rejected from the top of this range. And therefore, even though a lot of other YouTubers were flipping extremely bullish at the exact top right here, I was saying we didn't break out of this channel yet. So therefore, we can't expect the price to just start trading much higher from here unless it really does break out. So since we got that rejection, we got a quick move to the downside here. And the key levels to watch, besides those support and resistance levels that I was talking about earlier, are also this level of support right here, which is sitting at 65.9K, because you really don't want to see the price trading lower than that, because then we're setting a new lower low, and that is never a good thing unless you are shorting, I guess. Either way, so that is a level to keep an eye on. And then on the upside, there's also this descending channel, like I said earlier, which has some resistance right now at 70.8K. So if you see the price trade above that and get confirmed daily candle closes, or at the very least a couple of 4-hour closes, then potentially I will be flipping more bullish again. So those are the levels to watch right now in terms of a breakout, because as of right now, we are simply trading between those two levels and just bouncing around. But if we do take a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat maps, because this can also help us identify potential momentum that will be happening soon, because typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is most liquidity on this chart. So where there are the most yellow areas on this chart. And as you can see right now on the 24-hour time frame, most of the liquidity is sitting at 68.6K, even all the way up to 68.9K. But there is also some downside liquidity at 66.5K. So definitely do not fade this, because potentially the price could just grab this liquidity to the upside and then immediately sweep the liquidity to the downside. So do be aware of that if you see the price trading above 69K or something like that. But if we do zoom out to the 3-day time frame, it becomes very clear that most of the liquidity is sitting to the upside. So it's important to understand the different time frames, where on the smaller time frames, we can have a bearish trend or the sweep liquidity to the downside, but on the larger trend can actually be looking more bullish with most of the liquidity to the upside. And in this case, most of the liquidity is sitting at 70.7K. So in the case that we do trade up to that level, then that is definitely something to keep an eye on, because it corresponds exactly to this level of resistance that I was talking about earlier. So you really need to pay attention what is going to happen here if we get a rejection or we get a breakout from there. Now taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables for today, where yesterday we had another $100 million inflow into the Bitcoin ETFs. So we are still seeing a lot of momentum coming into these Bitcoin ETFs. There is still a lot of demand. And Grayscale is still only selling very small amounts of Bitcoin relatively to what they do on average, because on average, they're selling close to $200 million worth of Bitcoin every single weekday. However, on Thursday, they only sold 13 million. So that completely left the door open for these other ETFs to buy Bitcoin and push up the price higher. And also looking at this chart right here, you can see the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF outflows and inflows. And over time, you're seeing a clear downtrend emerging, where Grayscale is selling less and less Bitcoin every single weekday, and even here had some nice inflows. So if this trend continues, we potentially could even flip where Grayscale investors are actually buying Bitcoin on a net basis instead of selling on a net basis. So that is why I will continue to keep tracking these inflows, because if we see the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF investors really flip bullish and becoming net buyers consistently, then in my opinion, that could be a very bullish signal for the Bitcoin price. Moving on to Ethereum, where a couple of weeks ago, it got rejected from the 0.786 Fibonacci level at $4,000, traded all the way to the 0.5 level at 2860 for the Ethereum price. But then we got this awesome bounce and traded to the upside very, very fast because of that Ethereum ETF news approval. And in fact, now the Ethereum ETFs have been approved. So this move to the upside was simply pricing in the very high likelihood that the Ethereum ETFs would be approved. However, once we did get close to that 0.786 Fibonacci level, as I mentioned in my previous videos when we were getting this massive pump, anything close to this 4K level is going to be a major level of resistance, because it is a big psychological level, as well as the 0.786 Fibonacci level, which is typically quite hard to break, especially considering that we have this high right here, which will also act as a level of resistance. So to get a better idea of what we can expect in the immediate short term, let's take a look at the short-term support and resistance levels for Ethereum. So zooming in on the 1 hour time frame, so around the Ethereum ETF news, we had some insane wicks. This was a 10% move in 2 hours. So obviously, it was very risky to trade, especially with leverage around that Ethereum ETF news. And that is also what I said in my Discord server. I won't be trading the Ethereum ETF news if it gets approved, because in my opinion, because I didn't really know what to expect in terms of price action when the ETF news was approved. Of course, if it got rejected, then it would be bearish for Ethereum, because this move right here was pricing in the approval. So in the case of a rejection, then likely it would have went down and I probably would have shorted that move. But since it was approved, I didn't trade it. And I'm very glad looking at this, because yeah, very high chance anyone got liquidated here. It doesn't matter how skilled you are at trading. If you are in any trade and you see these wicks, it is pretty much GG's. But either way, taking a look at the support and resistance levels here, we do have this level of resistance sitting at 3750 all the way up to 3800, which is acting as a level of resistance. However, right now Ethereum is actually potentially bouncing from this level of support, which is sitting at 3650, like I called out in my previous video, where so far we have seen one bounce from it, and now potentially we can see another bounce from it. However, if we do see the Ethereum price trade below that level, then likely we will go lower, with potentially getting some short-term support right here at about 3600. However, if we do see a larger pullback, then likely we will fall into this next level of support below that, which is sitting at 3530 all the way down to 3430. But in the immediate short term, that is about it for the bearish scenarios. So in the case that we do trade to the upside and go above that $3,800 level, then you really want to see Ethereum take out this high at 3920, because then it becomes very likely, if the RSI is not like crazy overbought or anything, but it becomes likely that the Ethereum price will trade into this next level of resistance, which is sitting from $4,000 all the way up to 4,100. So moving on to Solana on the 4-hour time frame. Recently, we got rejected from the 0.786 Fibonacci level at $190, and then got a bounce from the 0.618, but actually lost that support level as well, where now Solana has already kind of bounced from this 0.5 Fibonacci level sitting at $163, and now looks to potentially be retesting that level once again. Of course, it's not guaranteed, but one thing you really must consider is that it has now touched this 0.5 Fibonacci level, and you can see that the RSI on the 4-hour time frame is already resetting quite nicely. So of course it can dip into oversold territory, which is whenever the RSI is below 30. However, zooming in on this 1-hour time frame RSI, if I just pull this up a little bit, you can see that the RSI pretty much touched the oversold territory already. Then there will be limited room to the downside in the immediate short term. And first you would need to see the RSI kind of reset a little bit. For example, like you saw right here, we got into overbought territory, and then the RSI needed to reset a little bit down before then, once it has reset, actually make its next move either to the upside or to the downside. And if it moves up or down is of course dependent on support and resistance levels, as well as some other technical indicators. So let's take a look at these short-term support and resistance levels right now. So taking a look at this 1-hour time frame for Solana, you can see that this upward sloping level of resistance actually created a perfect rejection right here. So since I called this out in yesterday's video, this could have been a very nice signal for you to short. Either way, what we can see right now in terms of resistance for Solana is actually this big level right here, which is sitting from 176 all the way up to 181 for the price of Solana. And another level of resistance that we are trading very close to right now is actually right here from 166 all the way up to 171 for the price of Solana. So potentially the price could be getting rejected from here. But of course, if you see the price trade above this $171 level, then likely the price will be trading up to the next level of resistance above that, which I talked about earlier. Either way, so looking at the support levels right here for Solana, we do have this level of support, which is sitting at $164, but this is some very short-term support here. So in the case that you do see the Solana price trade below that level, then the next level of support below that is sitting at $160. And if it gets really bad out there, like for example, Bitcoin dumping massively and pulling the entire market down with it, and you see Solana lose this level of support as well, well, in that case, likely the price will be trading lower, with the next big level of support below that sitting at 150 all the way down to $140. But in my opinion, it will take a lot of bearish momentum for the Solana price to now suddenly drop into this $150 level, but it is something to keep in mind if we do lose that level at $160. Now, if you are new here and haven't joined my Discord server yet, I highly recommend you join it. It's completely free to do, and you can leave at any time. You can join the Discord server with the first link in the description of this video. It's a very active community with a lot of people that are trading crypto every single day, sharing analysis with each other, sharing wins with each other here as well. So I highly recommend you join if you are trading crypto regularly or just learning the ropes and are just still a beginner. Either way, if you do end up joining or not, this has been today's market update video. Thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.